Sorry guys, I don't know what happened to my network, so I'm gonna have to start over again. You know, when the Cape Coloured Congress coined the phrase "Coloured Lives Matter," it was a slogan of protest. Coloured Lives Matter because when 3,500 of us die on these Cape Flats, no one says anything. There is no government action. The only action is total inaction. When coloured people apply for jobs and their CVs get thrown away, government says nothing. When coloured grandmothers are condemned to living in backyards for generations, government seems okay with it. Actually, that's government doing the condemnation. So we coined this slogan because our lives do matter. And this brings me to my point. I wish to talk about something, and you know what? You can start with your racist catcalls. I really don't care. Like, when I really don't care, like I really don't care. I'll point you to an organization called Pop Crew, which was started in the 80s to protect coloured work interests within the police services and correctional services. And Pop Crew fought for our rights, and they should be applauded. And then they opened the doors to all races. Pop Crew no longer speaks for us. When 95% of all prison and police officials appointed since 94 are black. Not a single coloured. Well, there are coloureds, but so few and far between. You'd have to search for them. In spite of us filling 80% of all prison seats because of our socio-economic conditions, they still, government, when I say they, I mean government, still do their best to exclude us from everything. Pop Crew is not allowed to say anything because it no longer speaks for coloured rights. If you doubt me, go visit Paulsmoor. See how many coloured wardens you see. In Cape Town, go to Victor Verster. Go see how many coloured wardens you see. So, the point that I'm leading to, guys, is there's a need for a coloured voice, for coloured interests. And I'm going to go out on a limb and tell you that it's the Cape Coloured Congress, that it cannot be anyone else. You see, everybody else, I mean, a certain party accused us very recently of only standing up for coloureds. We say no, we stand up for everyone. As a matter of fact, when we had the backyarders protests, and the Department of Housing said, listen, come to us with your people, we'll see what you can do. A handful of black people made that list. One of them actually got the house. Her name is Zuki. Zuki said, thank you very much, brother. I said, cool, auntie, you deserve it. So guys, the long and the short is that while we are not racist, we are not colorblind. We see what is done to us. We see the attempt to marginalize us, to hurt us, and we will not shut up about it. So while other parties might accuse us of doing anything, my question to you is, what are you doing? Because if we had the type of resources that most of you had, coloured lives would have improved by now. You see, we go into this election with a coloured bat in the hand, knowing that our heart beats for the coloured child, the one no one talks about. We go into this election to improve the material condition of the coloured people in particular, but everybody in general. And we will not apologize for this. My question to these other parties, can I hear you say, coloured lives matter? Just once. My question is, when you open your doors wide enough, and your ranks are swelled with people who do not have coloured interests at heart, remember, in this country, the right wing and the Africanist, their aspiration depends largely on our failure. It's why the system is set up, so that we can fail. It's why there are bad choices on every corner in coloured neighbourhoods. So my question to you is, when you open your doors and people with other agendas start flooding your parties, start making the voting decisions that puts us on the outskirts again, what do? Because an apology is not going to do it. The colored people will not survive 5 more years of this madness. It is why we need this. This vehicle is necessary. For those of you that disagree, feel free to disagree, because the ballot paper will stretch from Bellville to Parkwood. There will be 200 parties for you to vote for. I do not see you people criticizing parties doing absolutely nothing to very little to further the aspiration, the dreams and the hopes of colored youth. They don't get the flack we do, and we don't mind it at all. You see, I am not willing to get into a fight with anyone who is fighting for total fairness unless provoked. But understand that I am a known street fighter, so don't provoke. Our focus is narrow, our marcus is niche. Leave it at that. I want to hear you say it. Colored lives matter. You see, certain parties, I'm not going to mention any names, there's a few of them, have a whole lot to say about everything except the 3,500 dead bodies that we are faced with year on year. Our children, our sons, our nephews. They have nothing to say about the drug pandemic that has hit Cape Town, and that's going nowhere. Our president has just made life harder for everybody, because while you locked down, you did not speak of business relief and you did not speak of food aid, because I suspect that this country has run out of money entirely. It's going to get worse. 2 people will be hit the worst. The poor black man, the one in the squatter camp, and the poor colored boy. And nobody's going to say a thing about it, except us, of course. While we are here for our equality, understand something. A great wrong has been done to the colored nation, and an apology is not going to fix it. We demand reparative action. No one else is doing that. Too afraid to offend their constituents. We are not. The return to our land is going to happen. If you are in Gauteng, wherever it is that you were evicted from, it must happen. But I personally cannot speak in a Gauteng context, because I've been to Gauteng for a day or 2 and come back home. I don't know enough about it. What I can speak on with authority is in the Cape Town context. What happens here, I live it. You know, if there's one thing that I've learned, is that with the right amount of drive and the right amount of motivation, we can overcome. Look at me. Who am I? I'm sitting outside the job where I'm working today. I'm doing a bathroom renovation. I'm about to get soaking wet because I need to go and pressure test. But what I've learned is that with the right amount of motivation and the right amount of fire and the right amount of anger, we shall overcome. Guys, I don't know if I've made much sense here, but I needed to say it. Colored lives matter. All lives matter. But colored lives matter too. Have a good day. Be safe out there.